Yes, guys, it's your boy DC, and welcome to our brand new show, Ball or Nothing podcast. Today, we're joined by our panel of guests, each supporting a different Premier League team, each their own opinions. I feel like this season's going to be, like I said, an exciting season. There's some teams that have made some good transfers, there's some teams that have made not so good transfers, and there's some teams that are, like I said, are going to shock the whole league, you know, especially the teams that have gone up. So, prior to this podcast, we asked the panel, everyone on the panel, whether they're sitting over here or on the bench, to select 3 players that are the best signings of this season and 3 players that are, you know, not the best signings of this season. Okay, so we've got the results in. I've got the results here. And to be fair, there's a lot of shocks, to be fair, especially for the worst signings. So we're going to go over them very quickly. So the top 3 signings that I had, the most votes was Haaland and Jesus. And the most worst 3, shall I say, was Nunes. Okay, so if you talk about
Really?
I was going to put him in as well, you know. I was going to put him in. I thought they were going to get onto me. I should have just done it, innit?
And then we had one shock one. So someone put Ten Hag in as their one vote as a new signing. So we're going to touch base on that a little bit later because exactly that's what I'm saying. So I'll touch base on that a little bit later. But
I wonder who done that.
in terms of like Haaland and Jesus, like who selected Haaland and Jesus?
I selected Haaland, not Jesus.
I said to Haaland as well.
I went
Jesus.
I had both.
Same.
If you didn't select Haaland, you're crazy.
I think Haaland is needed in this. You know, his stats and exactly.
Hold on. Are you going by value? Who's the best value for money? Or are we going by who's going to flop and who's going to perform?
The question.
Yeah, break down the question.
Not who's the best players.
Who's the best signing?
Signing.
No, but best signing can mean who's the best value for money, or it can mean who's the best signing, who's going to flop and who's going to perform.
Break down the question.
So it has to get broken down further.
Signing, transfer, yeah, transfer.
So you're talking
signing.
money?
No, listen, it's in the name. Signing, transfer. Like you could buy Haaland for $250.
You're talking money, bro.
Because that's the question. Isn't
So
it?
we're
It's a
talking. I'm not
transfer.
talking. I'm
Transfer
talking
is not-
performances. Who's going to flop?
But that's a whole
Which-
other question.
That's the question
That's
I was
ability.
asked, bro.
That's ability.
No, it's not ability. It's
different
anyone not
question
perform. It's not ability, bro. Who's going to perform? Who's going to flop?
When you break down the transfer, is the fee not
relevant? It's relevant still.
when Pogba
it's
got
relevant
signed
still.
for how much money, wasn't it?
Nah,
That's
I think
another
the fees are
question,
relevant.
though.
I think the fees are
Fees
relevant.
That's another question, right? If you're talking about who's going to flop and who's going to perform.
It's irrelevant.
I think
I think you lot are trying to suck up.
How I took
No, it's not irrelevant in the transfer. It's irrelevant in the question.
How I took it was
Who's gonna
have the
like-
biggest impact?
Yes.
That's how I took it. Who's
My
gonna
man's
have the
got it
biggest
right,
impact on
Read
the
out the
team?
question again.
To be fair, it is like
You can interpret it 2 ways,
you
right?
interpret it 2 ways.
Who's
but-
going to flop, who's going to perform, or who's the best value for money?
And
I
also,
did it
like,
by
and
performance.
also, who's going to add more value to your squad? That's what I'm saying.
That's
so,
how I took it.
Yeah, but not financially.
Who's the needle the most in your group? That's how I took
Read
it.
out the question
Bam.
again.
So we're on the same page.
If you don't pick Haaland, I'm not sure if you're involved.
You man are just talking money,
I
though.
didn't pick Haaland.
Oh,
You man are just talking money.
I pick Haaland because
Not even ability, bro. Who's going to perform and who's going to... It's a prediction, isn't it? We don't really know who's
We
going to
didn't
flop.
get
and
asked
who's
who's going to perform.
That's
what we're just top 3
What do you
signings.
think? Bro, that's how man address a signing, innit? A good signing performs,
So
a
you're-
dead
so
signing
you're
don't.
adapting the questions. Can we read out the
Yeah,
questions?
hey, boys, listen.
But isn't the question based on interpretation though? So we interpret it the way that we receive
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
So we decide.
Because I got some other
We
answers
decide
here
the
as well.
value
Like,
of whether it's based on whether how many goals he's going to score.
So it's individual
whether
choice.
It's value for money.
Yeah.
If it's a free transfer, but it's Haaland, then it's going to
So
be
it's
on
individual
the-
choice.
Exactly,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So you
Yeah,
don't
and I
know.
think we should take on board the fact that we all look at things differently.
Definitely, yeah.
So whether he looks at it as value for money and you look at it as goals, it doesn't matter, bro. It's
But
your
I'd say
interpretation.
either way, innit? I'd say
Exactly.
either way,
It's
innit?
balance. Everything's about balance. So
If
as
you're
far as
talking
I'm
goals,
concerned,
Man weren't saying Haaland shouldn't be in there. Man saying, let's get the criteria for the... That's what man saying.
no, but each of us
of their own's
interpreting
got their
our
own
So everyone's got their
criteria.
own criteria.
Exactly.
That works fine.
to be fair, I think what you guys are saying is true, but Haaland has to be there regardless.
Facts.
Haaland hits both criteria.
He does.
Exactly.
To get-
So there's no
Yeah,
conversation.
I said that.
Um,
If we're talking ability, it's Haaland. If we're talking for the money, 50 mil.
We also got some other interesting ones. So we got number 2, the most voted top 3 signing, should I say, was Ericsson. And it's one guy that I forgot to add onto my list because
Free blood.
Thank you.
Can't complain.
I'm
He was my number one. Adam was number
Is
one.
it?
Yeah.
And wait,
Robert,
He's
tell us why he's
free,
your number
that's
one.
why I put him
Why
down.
did you put him there?
Why'd you put number one?
Me.
I heard man say free.
I tell you what.
I had him one.
That's why I put him there.
I had
You can't
him one.
complain. That's tech and
That's
free
why.
blood.
Yeah.
So you
Free.
can't
See
complain
what he
with
said?
that.
Free. That means within a transfer and signing, you do have to acknowledge the price.
Bro, man just said you can choose your criteria, man.
Yeah.
No, but
And he chose
I had
his
one. I had Ericsson one. My one. The reason why I had Ericsson one, is because
Okay, cool, yeah.
the players that I'm looking at, there's signings. If you're going to look like player for player, who is the best specific player? Ericsson wouldn't fit into that. But in terms of where Man United was before, with the new manager coming in and the way that he wants the team to actually play, what Ericsson actually gives to the team overall, I think he adds the biggest from where Man United was last year in relation to where he's trying to get them to. He moves the needle the most for their team. The reason why they have Haaland is because whether Haaland was in the Man City squad or not, I still think Man City can win the league without him. They did it last year, so Haaland adds more value, yes, but does he move the needle that much to the point where it's going that far ahead?
But
I don't think so.
For Haaland, you would the point is always made when they fall short. They need a centre forward.
But they haven't fell
They-
short. Fall short in what? In terms of the Premier League or the Champions League?
Champions League.
This is Premier League signing, so we're looking to. That's how I'm looking at it. In terms of the Premier League, Man City, for me, even this year, I still feel Man City will still win the league. I don't think that the Haaland signing moves the league. I still think they're the best team. Ericsson now, I think, can be the difference between, because for me, City, Liverpool's top two. I think they're way ahead of everyone else. But I feel with Ericsson coming in, losing Pogba, adding Ericsson to the team, with the way that he controls games, the tempo, he can dictate that in terms of how Man United want to play, because naturally they're quite a transition team.
And statistics, actually. Remember, he's normally up there with the assists and stuff.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not
I know
super
you're
keen
not
on
a
the stats.
statistics
I'm an
man.
eye
I
test
agree,
guy. I'm an
I
eye
agree,
test guy.
but based on what you see, Man United like last season, obviously Pogba got what 9 assists or something like that. When he weren't playing, he was missing, bro. From a Man United perspective, that creativity.
Yeah.
So not just statistics like that, but creativity. You know what I mean? So with him going and Ericsson coming in, we're gonna have that creativity
Then I would
now.
argue, is he actually gonna start?
Who Ericsson?
To be because the way you're mentioning him is like he's that missing ingredient. I would argue that as a United fan, I wouldn't say he's the missing ingredient, but he is quality and for free. If quality is going for free, and with he's gonna, like you said, he will fit Ten Hag's system and style. You have to.
This is how
Is he playing over
This is what I just
Bruno?
said. I doubt he's starting. So I don't
Bruno
really
starting.
agree with that explanation, but I put him in there purely as ability and for free, and to go
And his
with
depth.
how Ten Hag plays.
But how he actually,
Step for the
how he
squad
wants to
still.
play, and if you watch
don't-
if you watch their pre-season games, and they actually see Man United play now and dominate possession in terms of games.
Yes.
I've not seen Man United do that for a long time. Yes. So Ericsson coming in, he adds that as value. Okay. The midfielders you currently have, okay. Bruno, I would say for me, is a player that kind of adds X factor, that can do something, can create out of something, out of nothing, essentially. The rest of your midfielders, none of them can chat to Ericsson. None of them.
None of them.
The only one prior to that was Pogba.
Yeah.
And the system, I would have loved to have seen Pogba in this team. This year would have been ideal. But when you're playing in a team where you dominate possession, obviously Man United have normally played with a double pivot and a 10. He can actually make Man United play with a 3. You could have a single pivot with Ericsson and Bruno together as a 3. He gives the team so much flexibility, and it's going to be under. I know he's not X factor in terms of like goals and assists, but those pre-assists to create a controlling games, his overall value for Man United, especially how he wants to play, is going to be top.
Actually,
It's gonna
said
be
it
top.
top. He can play in the 4, 8, 10. He can
10. He can play he can play wide. He can play wide. He can play narrow. He can play as the 10.
Yeah.
He adds too much value to Man United, and I think he moves the needle massively.
Yeah.
Massively.
And he's free. So he has to be in the list.
Yes.
Right.
That's
Just
it.
quickly on the bench. Off Kante, we've got Freda. Do you wanna just talk about what you wanted to add into that conversation?
Yeah, so I basically agree with that. Ericsson's quality in the ball, but not in a rude way. I kind of feel like he's a liability as well, just because with his health issues as well.
Yeah.
So
Do you know what? That's what I thought as well. You know, in terms of like,
is he really gonna start?
yeah,
Stuff like that. Like he's just there. He
Yeah.
can play, but. You know what I mean?
that's it as well. And especially the guy United are playing so many games this season. And where he was at Brentford and he was just like a big fish in a small pond. Like now he's gonna have to take the pressure off United. So is that gonna have an impact on his health? We'll have to wait and see. We don't actually know. But in terms of his ability and what he can do in the Premier League, like what he done with Brentford last year. Like he come into Brentford's team and he kind of helped them and saved them in the Premier League, innit? So with a better system, better players around him, I feel like that's a good signing. I should have added that into my top 3, but I left it out because of who I think who's probably the most impactful signing.
Yeah.
And that has to be Raheem Sterling. Only because, I'll tell you why, boys.
I had him top 3.
Whoa.
I'll tell you what.
I had him top 3.
I'll tell you why. Listen, when you look at Raheem Sterling,
Yeah.
everyone's under this facade that he's just not a player anymore because Pep played him.
Who's under
No, there's bare
yeah.
guys.
Yeah,
there's bare guys that think.
Or like,
No, that's general. If I
Just
talk to
general
next,
people,
yeah,
you
all
look,
guys.
they've written him off like.
or
They
is anyone
disrespect
here
him.
think that?
Do you know, not here, but
No, but there's other guys that
Do you look at Sterling, as a difference maker, like X factor?
Yeah,
Do you?
100%.
Okay, cool.
I'm saying, I feel like you see this like almost similar to the Mane situation leaving Liverpool. I feel like it's gonna have that same effect on City, especially watching the Community Shield. Going in behind first half was non-existent, which meant Liverpool is dominating them.
Bro,
no.
you can't
You
come in.
You can't come in. You can't come in yet.
So, as a City fan, do you feel that since Sterling has come, do you feel that based on the back of him coming from Liverpool, do you feel like he's maxed out on his actual potential, his capacity of where you expected him to get to?
Absolutely.
You think he has? Okay, cool. The second one I would say, Mahrez, before he came to City from Leicester, and where he was, do you feel like Mahrez is maxed out his potential, his full capacity of where he can get to?
I don't think Mahrez is going to get better.
Okay.
I think he's got to where he's going to get. I still think it took him a few years. Like when he came from Leicester, we never had Leicester Riyadh straight away. It took us a good 2-3 years to get it out of him. He's developed his game obviously to play with us. Same thing at Leicester, he was the main man, him and Jamie. Not the same now. But he's developed and he's learned to play with us. And he's in my first 11 now.
Okay.
He was in my first 11 over Raz anyway last
Yeah.
year.
For me, what Mahrez went through is what Grealish is going through. Mahrez was a maverick at a smaller team, a maverick.
It's a good
You
comparison,
see in
yeah.
Guardiola's teams, there's no maverick. You fit into a system.
system. Right.
Same thing
It's a good
Grealish is
comparison.
going through. He was a maverick at Villa. I feel like this season and next, you're going to see Grealish, maybe not to the level, but to the level similar to Mahrez, where they're more integrated into a system now and they play.
This is exactly
It's
what
only
I
a
was
matter-
going to say.
it's a matter of time,
The
yeah.
Razza thing, because Mahrez to me, I wouldn't say Sterling ability-wise is the same level as like a Mahrez. But Mahrez,
Technically, no.
The overall, his overall impact on the game. For me, Mahrez, if Mahrez went to a team like a Madrid or even a Chelsea where he's got the flexibility to be a maverick rather than playing in a structured system, for me, he should be in the same conversation as the best players in the world. He would have been gone clear. He would have been, ability-wise, he would have been gone clear.
Riyadh, when we're talking, are we
Riyadh.
talking
and
Messi?
The reason why I say that, is because every attacking player that gets signed for City, they're capped. They're fully capped in terms of their full potential they can go and reach to. Sane playing at City does not play how he plays at Bayern Munich.
Absolutely.
Sterling, where he was at Liverpool, he doesn't play. He didn't play the same even when he plays for England. When he plays for England, Sterling plays compete. He's got the freedom to roam, affect the
No,
game,
not
get on the
Sterling.
ball.
No.
Sterling at England is nothing like at City.
That, the only player that worked because Sterling's not a maverick. So with Sterling,
I think he is. I think he's
No.
X factor. Man's
When he was
forgetting
at
when he was
Liverpool-
at Liverpool.
Facts.
When he was at Liverpool,
He
when it
played
was
right wing, Maverick's not
when he
playing
was
right
at
wing.
Liverpool, when he was there and it was Suarez and he was lining up because man forget he was lining up the Premier League young.
He was like 18, man, ain't forgotten.
He was
But
moving
I don't
nuts.
think he's a maverick.
No, he's top.
So is he world class?
No,
He's
not
top.
world class.
Where is he at?
So hold on, what was that point to say?
The point I'm
Pep
trying to say-
stifles man or Pep stops man?
Attacking players. To
I
pay for
agree,
Pep,
but not
Pep
with
stifles
Sterling.
attacking players, and the reason why
I
is
disagree,
because they
bro.
don't have the absolute
It's just a
green
discipline
light.
thing.
They don't have the
Yeah,
but
it
discipline
is.
for some players is
that-
good.
Yeah.
Having the freedom to do whatever you, so for example,
That's true.
if I look at like a Zaha, I don't want to cap him. I want him to have the freedom to do whatever he wants. And the reason why is because the unpredictability allows him to shine and be the best player that he can be.
Can I just say,
With your Pep and you've had your success.
No, but
doing a certain thing.
No, I'm not
Remember he had
yeah.
the biggest maverick ever, innit? He's had Messi And look what he done with him. So to say Pep stifles man is crazy.
The only reason why I would say that,
Pep nurtured the best talent in the history of the game.
You can't use the one anomaly as the rule. That's
Why is it an anomaly?
Because there's no other Messi. That's the reason why. Like,
No, but there's no other players that's prospered under Pep. Look at Sterling. Sterling went up miles under Pep.
He's
bro.
not prospered. I'm not saying that.
But did Raza get better under Pep?
Better in terms of what?
In terms of technical ability, how to play the game, how to read the game, how to move, movement,
I think better.
finishing.
That's what I was going to say. I think better in terms of numbers. He's got better.
What do you think he didn't get better at?
Do I think he did get better?
What do you think he didn't get better
I
at
think
under
he's been
Pep?
capped because Sterling's trajectory of where he was going to. He's
How can he be capped? You just said about his numbers, bro.
No, that's what
I said no way.
Statistically,
I'm saying, how can he say that, bro?
Oh yeah. Statistically, yeah, I agree. But I'm saying to you in terms because we're looking at two things. Pep in terms of what he wants for the team overall. City, yes. In terms of that functionality, yes. Sterling himself on his own personal development of where he can, the level he can reach, he was capped.
You think Sterling can get better?
100%.
I agree with that. I agree.
I respect it, but I think you overrate Raza, bro.
That's true.
But we won all the leagues.
Yeah.
I agree.
That's the end game.
Everything he said because it's facts. Because even from Barcelona, Ibrahimovic out of it, Ronaldinho out of it. If you ain't singing, to
Even
the tune,
even
the
Eto'o.
only- he even
That's what a
said
boss does, bro.
Eto'o stayed because Eto'o played to the tune. There's certain times Eto'o went out wide. It's Messi. And what Pep said is it's Messi.
That's
He's
the only reason why he
only
won.
one.
That's
This
it.
is why Ibrahimovic said, "What you want me to run around for this guy? I'm out of here." So and Eto'o stayed because Eto'o signed to the tune.
No, he went in the end, so we're into it.
In the end, but he had a good few seasons where he was singing to that.
It's like 1 year.
The only one.
He won. I think he won one Champions League and then
that
gone.
even goes more to my point that I agree with you from Barcelona to City.
They done same with Henry as well.
You said the only thing I disagree with was the Sterling example because for me, Sterling, Pep brought the best out of him.
Easily.
If you check his seasons, and I feel like Sterling needed that because Sterling was a good player, but he was like, "What are you giving us? Are you giving us assists? Are you giving us goals? Right now, you're just giving us threat." Where Pep made him, and
That's wavy.
Sorry.
That's wonderful.
Can we just say Arteta brought the best out of Sterling? Let's be real. We saw it on the TV. We saw it on All or Nothing. Arteta was the guy that brought the best out of Sterling.
He said it as well. He said Arteta tactically is the one who actually developed his game.
And Pep brought Arteta in as part of his coaching staff.
Arteta was Pep's number 2, bro.
Yeah,
Of course he was.
No, I need to watch this thing tonight, bro, about Arteta.
No,
I'm not having that.
On the City one.
On the City one?
On the City one, he
Not
mentioned
the
that's
Arsenal.
not the Arsenal thing.
Cool. I'm not on that. I'm not on that.
I'm not having
Aye,
That's why I agree with him. Because the truth, Sane, listen, you're a wonderful player, but Pep, after games, during games, you see him arguing with Sane, like, do this round. not
Yeah,
that
but
round.
you need to remember, certain man won't get on with Pep because
No,
of
but
that.
I
probably wouldn't have got on with Pep if I played for him. But you have to respect the players that do.
That's why I agree with him.
It's not restricted, bro. It's discipline.
But
it's the same thing.
discipline is still
It's the
restricting
same
someone
thing.
from doing what.
But it's not a
No,
bad
but you're
thing.
saying restriction in a negative connotation.
I'm not saying that it's negative.
If restriction wins you everything.
No, I'm not saying it's negative. I'm saying for Man City, they play. Okay, I'll use rather than take Man City out of the equation. David Villa before he went Barcelona was on he was on a mad thing. But then you go to the team. Same with Henry. Like Henry is top X factor. He's different level. But when he goes, listen, this is your role, and you play. This is the profile. This is your role. Do your job. Nothing else. I don't want you to do nothing else. So if you're going outside of the profile, can Henry do more? Yes. Can David Villa do more?
That's
Yes.
true.
But we don't want you to do that.
So what you're
which is why I'm
saying is
he's
certain
capped.
players don't suit Pep's system.
No,
Certain players need more freedom. I understand that, but if you're Pep and you're winning, you're gonna go with what wins.
No, but you're confusing winning and Pep from a Man City perspective in relation to the player.
But take it to Barca. Take it to Barca. When Barca was winning everything, 2006, 2007, 8, whatever. Would you when Barca was the best team on the planet, around circa 2008,
Yeah.
when you couldn't get the ball off them?
Those players were
Are you
still-
telling me you'd rather David Villa had more freedom?
Would I rather that
When they were winning everything.
But my point, what I would make is
No, but you
that-
gotta answer the question.
Would I as a player or as a person?
It's
who's
not
part of
about
the
David Villa having freedom if the team's the best team in the world and they're winning, isn't it?
Your question you're asking me is as a player or as a person who wants to go to a team and be successful and win medals. What are you asking me?
He asked you,
No,
would you
no,
rather the
I'm
player
asking
had
you-
more freedom or the team win?
The team
Thank
wins,
you.
obviously.
So that's defeating your own argument, my brother.
That's not
I think boys, I think we'll leave it here and we'll move on in it. Because we're talking about Pep and Barcelona, we'll be on Bayern Munich
I
next.
feel like we are still.
And some next thing, but boys, listen, we'll move on to the worst three now. So one name I see here, which is mind-boggling, and I feel like this is definitely from some United fans or someone's on some next hate thing, but I'm seeing the person that got the most votes for the worst signing is Nunes.
Yeah.
And I do not understand.
I
It's
didn't
definitely
vote for
United
Nunes.
fans. And, there we
Has to
go.
be.
There we go. Explain why you think he was your number one as well.
I didn't really have enough.
So why is he part of your worst? Because that's mental.
Like, he's still got the training wheels on. He's got a lot of.
But where have you seen that from though? Like,
I've watched the pre-season.
did you watch him in Benfica? Was he a Benfica player?
He's still got the training wheels on. Like, yeah. Get me fit and get me to Liverpool. I can do the same. I can do the same role. Like, the stuff I'm seeing.
Have you watched him though, or are you basing that off the Twitter?
I've watched
Not the Twitter
I've watched
clips.
him. No, I've watched the games. Like, come on, he's young, he's athletic, so he's got that. Do you know what I mean? Like, he can move about.
Some energy, yeah.
But you see that watching him and watching Haaland, yeah, cool. He scored the goal. See Haaland, when Haaland gets that comfort where he's just in front of goal, like at City, he's banging bare goals. His movement, his decision making was elite. Like, and I've been watching that.
Are you basing that on pre-season or
Pre-season and a little bit of stuff watching before. Like, I don't think he's as good as people are making out.
Top 3 worst signing. That's a big statement.
Remember, because we're basing on it.
So you're talking financial as well. Yeah.
85 mil and Haaland.
It's a lot to splash.
50 mil.
Yeah.
Nah, that's mad.
Do you know what it is though? I'm glad you owned up to it because there's 2 other people in this room that have voted for him and have not. So do you know what it is? I'm gonna get them guys on the channel. There we go. Thanks.
Alright, cool. So let
There
me
we
tell you
go.
my top 3 worst signings. Yeah, the first one was Darwin Núñez. The second one was Dean Núñez. And the third one was Núñez. Yeah? That's what I'm on.
But why? Like, explain. Give us some.
Because we spoke about it, innit? It's holistic. We have to look at the whole thing in terms of value for money. And if you're losing Mane and you're taking Núñez and you're saying this is your go-to guy, as far as I'm concerned, what I've seen of the guy and what I've seen historically of him, I'm
But do you not think that Diaz is the guy to replace Mane?
That's how I look at it. I don't
When
think it's
when I see Diaz,
That's a fair point.
he can replace Mane and he's a lot younger. He's
That's a fair
more to
point.
learn from.
And I think Diaz was very strong.
but I don't think it's a complete different profile of player. I don't think there's a comparison between the both. I think the money is mental. Yeah. And I think if the price tag, that stigma is going to be against it because of the price tag, which makes it mad. However, based on like the memes and training and all of that stuff, bro, it's unfair to put that on him. And the reason why I say that as well is because historically, even Liverpool with their pre-season, they do 2 weeks where it's an absolute madness where they're doing the mad running, trenches, all of that. Looking at it from that perspective, to an extent, he's kind of been set up to fail, basically. So it's to say, could he be one of the worst signings? Potentially. Yeah. To give that as right now from all the transfers that have gone through.
It's a bit
bottom
heavy,
3,
isn't it?
that's mad. That's wild. That's wild. And off the performance as well, when he came on.
He didn't do bad against us, you
He
know.
done alright. And against the best team in the league.
He played like a young boy just getting put into the team. That's what I saw, bro.
You know what it is? You're coming with these comments with United. That is 100%. Yeah.
I told Núñez as well. I rate him as ability as a player, but based off a year at Benfica, 85
one good
mil,
season.
Liverpool got bent over, and it's a fact because I've seen Rui Costa. He's a higher up at Benfica. He said it. He made a statement saying, he said he can't.
Was that
believe
real though?
they
I
got-
thought that wasn't even real. That statement.
That statement might not be real, but the general
He said that
consensus,
he was laughing or something, didn't
the general consensus was, it was quoted, but even if that weren't real, the general consensus is that, you know,
They saw them coming,
They
right
wanted
away,
50
yeah.
mil. They told West Ham, when West Ham come with their bid, they said 50 mil. West Ham went up to 45, they said no. Then United come in. They use United as the bait.
You've been saying that if United signed them, you haven't been doing all that.
They use United as the bait.
They were like,
Get rid of CR.
One good season.
At
Yeah.
Benfica.
Martial. Is he a new
It's a
signing?
gamble. It's a gamble.
Is he a new signing? He
For me, he'll come
might as
good.
well be
I
a new
rate him as
signing.
a player. I believe he'll come good. Maybe not this season because Liverpool as a team as well, historically, most players take a season to bed in. Apart from Diaz, but most players, even Thiago, took
You think he's gonna come good? You can't put him in your bottom three though.
Not this season though. I don't think he'll come good this season.
Out of all the votes that casted him, the only players not to be mentioned in the worst list out of all the players were Haaland and Basuma, who's one player we've spoken about. So
I put him in my top 3 still.
Did you?
Yeah, I put him in my top 3.
I was thinking about it. What was the top 3? Because it was Haaland,
yeah, the top 3 was Haaland, Eriksen, Sterling, Basuma.
Oh, Sterling was it? So
Yeah,
Sterling
obviously I
was
have to highlight Sterling more. Sorry, you know what I'm saying. But yeah, chat to us like, why did you put like Basuma in your top 3?
Again, I just took the whole signing holistically. 25 mil.
Yeah,
Shh.
I'm with you.
Number 2 on the list straight away. You see what I'm saying? There was no debate for me. Obviously, we got Partey. We're not going to talk about anything else, but we got Partey. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, to me, we didn't really need him. It was like a duplication. For me, they kind of play that same role. But Partey does it better.
Didn't Arsenal try to sign Basuma though?
How much they did?
They didn't.
Do you know what it is, yeah?
The other North London team.
Yeah,
But he would have just, to me personally, he would have been a squad man. I didn't count, you know, but he was out. He's the reason why we didn't make top 4 in my opinion still. The loss of Partey is why we didn't make top 4. That's the only reason why.
There you go. This is what I thought this team would have been good for Arsenal, but you know.
To a certain extent, do you know what it is, yeah? It would have been a luxury because we needed other players, more important areas, in my opinion.
Basuma's cold, but I agree. It's profile player.
Actual 25 mil.
No, but I still think.
Gets injured, who comes in?
No, but I still.
When? What should I say? When?
No, but I still think.
Or if he gets nicked.
No.
And then fade.
When not
Allegedly. Coming good.
But yeah, boys, and Danny Bassett, he voted for Ten Hag as the top signing, which
Top signing.
That's
Top or worst?
top. Like that was his top. Like one of his top 3 signings, which I kind of agree on, but we're not going to go into that because too much United talk, bro. Just doing my head in. But yeah, moving on. We've got some statement reactions now, which we've got together, and I feel like these are some things, as I mentioned earlier, about shocks to the system. Shock to the season, should I say, which can happen. So one of the statements is Arsenal and Tottenham's recruitment has been so good this window they should be considered dark horses for the title. Where do we sit with that comment? Because see me,
no.
I'm just going to throw my 2 pence in.
No,
my little 2 pence, and then I let you man run with it. Yeah. But personally, as an Arsenal fan, if we brought in what Tottenham brought in, it will be Arteta out. It'll be trending. It'll be trending. What do you mean? I'm talking about in terms of Richarlison. He's in my bottom 3 signings. We didn't even talk about it. Right? For me, that's a joke. Yeah. Richarlison, what's he gonna do? What does he do? What's he good at? But what's he good at? What's he good at though? What would you say? What would you say he's good at?
He starts ahead of Jesus from Brazil.
All right, but what is he good at? What would you say, in your opinion? What's he good at? What is he excelling? What's his strengths?
He does the same thing Jesus does. Scores, presses, creates. He's an all-rounder.
Out of the 2, who would you pick for your team?
Depends what position.
What right now?
It's Jesus.
As a Man United fan.
Me personally, I'll take Richarlison.
As a Man United fan.
You're capping.
As a Man United fan. As a Man United. No, as a Man United fan.
You take Richarlison over Gabby.
Yeah, of course I would.
As a Man United fan, you take
crazy
Richarlison. Yeah. If I was a Man United fan, I'd take Richarlison. But at Arsenal, I'd take Jesus.
Oh, you mean for their styles? You think?
For this, yeah, I think profile player is important.
Richarlison's mentality during the last 2 days at United.
I think the way he plays.
You see the goals he's scoring for dead ever.
I think
Jesus is scoring.
Basuma's their best bit of business. Out of the bunch, Basuma for me is their best bit of business.
And for a lot of the time, Richarlison wasn't the main striker. He was playing second fiddle.
Do you know what?
But he's nowhere near.
I think Spence is a good signing. But I don't Spence. I think he's a good signing. But I don't think
technically he's nowhere near
Conte seems to value him. I don't know. I just get
must
that
see that.
feeling.
So at Brazil,
I'd like to see him play.
Jesus is getting benched and Richarlison's playing up front.
Well, that's national teams, bro. That's the manager, isn't it?
Yeah. So what? At the Brazil are just
That's the manager. You never seen a manager pick a player and you thought someone else was better.
What's Charles Spence right in the same?
Jed Spence.
No,
I think he's a good signing.
Maybe signs now in it.
Yeah, he's come permanent.
Oh, are we talking about this? Was it this window though?
But,
He
but,
better
but,
get a loan last time, innit?
to
Okay,
be
cool,
honest,
cool.
all
He's
these
a good
signings,
signing.
all the
He's a good
signings you're
signing.
saying, that is not title contending stuff. That's like top 4. All them
No,
signings
neither
are
team-
not
neither-
title.
neither team-
neither team-
Yeah, but no one's touching the top 2.
Yeah, same. That's another statement.
That's the statement.
That's the
They're
statement.
both
Are they
right.
dark horses?
No, but no, Spurs are. Spurs are. With their manager.
Who? Chelsea can win the league.
No, they can.
Oh,
they can
nah.
touch
What?
Chelsea.
Yeah, 100%.
Chelsea.
No, they can't.
Come on, man. Chelsea's lucky to make top 4 this season.
Man
100%.
City and Liverpool are on their own separate thing. That's just their own.
And then it's Chelsea
No,
on their
in-
own
in-
separate
in-
thing.
in-
And then it's the rest.
Nah,
100%.
this year
Yeah.
is the first year where I'd say
Chelsea ain't making top 4.
Outside of the top two, the rest of the team is an absolute free for all. It's a free for all. Like as an Arsenal fan, previous years, even if you take away like our Arsenal optimism, at no point did I ever think they would make top 4. So even they missed out last year, that wasn't even disappointment for me because I never saw them as making top 4.
Even with the last day.
Nah, because it wasn't that Arsenal was good, it's all the other teams were there. So that's how Arsenal got the
Arsenal had
opportunity.
no other European football.
Exactly, to play double time and
no
2 times a week.
excuse, really.
This, I think, in terms of Spurs, the signings that they've made from the next group,
And the manager.
from the next group, with Conte and the signings that they made, for me, I think the closest, out of that next pack where Man U, Chelsea, Arsenal, I think Spurs are the next. I think Spurs have got the strongest team.
Well, you think those signings are better than Arsenal's window?
In terms of,
Or you just talking because of Conte?
In terms of right now, impact right now, those Spurs signings make an impact now,
Okay,
right now,
so hold
right
on.
now.
More than Jesus.
hold on.
Hey, Jesus is
So hold
one
on,
signing.
hold on, forget
We're
that,
talking
forget
a
that.
33-year-old Perisic.
No, I'm saying Perisic.
And a washed up, not washed
They're
up,
not
but
washed.
a very inconsistent Richarlison.
No
So
way.
hold on. Have
Bro,
Spurs
a
got better
33-year-old,
squad than
bro.
Arsenal?
Play
Top
left
to
back
bottom.
for
Right now.
play
Top
left
to
wing back
bottom.
for
I
Conte.
Remember I said this.
I think so.
One
Perisic
conversation
should
was, I guarantee you that.
I'm telling you, yeah, a 33-year-old playing wing back for Conte, that's hard work, my bro.
Yeah.
And he's never played in the Prem. You ain't got no 2 years to adjust, bro. You got 2 years to play.
Perisic is a machine, man.
Man are different.
What, in
Right.
2018?
When it comes to
Man are going off of England.
Modric and them got the skill of doing bits now.
Bro, we're talking about Perisic, not Modric.
Yeah,
Modric
but
is a
he's
Premier League
not-
legend.
He's
bro.
moving up England.
Hey, boys. Hey,
Modric has been here and done it.
Hey, we're gonna keep
Modric has
moving.
been here and done it,
We're
bro.
gonna keep
Perisic
moving.
has been here. Like,
Next statement we got is which I agree with strongly. United have had the worst transfer window out of the big 6.
facts.
For players, just players directly.
What's your judge now?
I'm just a football. I'm a neutral football. I support Arsenal, but I keep it real. Ten
yeah.
Hag. Last season, no one would have looked at Martial as a player. Martial straight out. He's come in. He made Martial look sick.
Yeah.
Martial looked sick. Sancho, X factor for me. He looks top this
Like,
preseason.
if we just stick to players, then not
Pre-season's a madness, you know, because he gets man.
In
gets
terms of
people-
recruitment,
But
then Man United have had a poor transfer window. But I think that Man United have the players. They didn't need massive recruitment. They needed a good manager. That's what I think they needed.
Yeah.
They needed a good manager.
I
And
think the statement's about the
recruitment.
But wait, no, but in terms of the
recruitment
window,
solely, then I would say yeah.
in terms of the window, like you said, yeah, United on paper they have a decent squad already. So they did, in my opinion,
Had
they
that
didn't,
for years,
They
bro.
didn't need major overhaul.
They've had a decent squad for years on paper.
What's his name? Malacia.
Yeah.
For a change.
Yeah.
He's hard.
Yeah, trust
He's hard. I would have. You know what I'm saying? So he then it's not been terrible.
Yeah, I'm with
It's
you.
not
like,
terrible.
I'm with you. It's not. I don't feel like we've
It's
had
not
the
been
worst,
good, bro.
but-
Considering
'cause
where
I
they've
feel
been
like-
at, it's not been
Because I
good.
feel like one signing, the DM will turn it from a meaty transfer window to a good transfer window. A DM, a centre back, a left back, and Ericsson. I feel like one signing turned from a meaty to a good window, and then you get a striker as well, turned it from a good window to a superb window.
Well, I think Man United signings. They're not glossy signings. There's no glossy signings. So they don't look wavy.
You're over.
But it's about who works for the
overstating it,
system.
bro.
That's why I think.
Yeah, bro. It's man said superb, you know.
Striker as well. We've covered every area that we
Bro,
need.
you're putting too much on Ericsson as well for a start, bro. You're putting way too much on a guy that's come
I
back
don't think
from
he's gonna start.
way too
Right.
much on a guy that's come back from a heart attack and played about 6
Yeah, I
months
don't
of
think he's
football.
gonna start.
Right, so we've got some social media reaction stuff, okay? So a lot of stuff's been happening on social media recently, up and down football, up and down the leagues, different countries. And one thing I want to touch base on, I know you guys have seen it, but have you guys seen, come out a few days ago, when the Man United friendly and Ronaldo's on the sideline drinking his water and Ten Hag's trying to maybe talk to him, but there's a slight disagreement between the two. Now, we're all aware that all summer Ronaldo wants out. You don't want to be at United. He's trying to get out. He's trying
Says
to.
who though?
His agent says Ronaldo. You're not buying it. That's cool. But his body language, everything. He doesn't have to training, all that stuff.
It don't look positive.
It don't look positive. That's what I'm saying. So
Ronaldo's always like that.
what do you reckon?
That's true as well.
He's always like that.
Well, I know Joe's-
That's true as well.
but what do you reckon? Like the problem is there. Or what do you reckon? Like that message sends to the whole squad and to everyone else. Like his body language. Have you not seen the video by the way?
Yeah.
You've seen the video,
Yeah.
So what do you guys reckon? Like what do you make of that whole thing?
I'm gonna be honest. I've backed Ronaldo all his career. Sometimes I've lied and said he's better than Messi when I knew he wasn't.
Yeah, but all United fans do that.
Right now,
Reality hits them.
right now, he's hurt me. Like he's hurt me. He's the reason why. Yeah, I tell you why. Man United, Ten Hag's coming, and he's been working. Like he's got them in the right condition, doing all the right things, and the squad is just seeing positive. So his drama, cool, he wants to go, whatever. But I would like, based on what Man United have done for him, I would have just preferred done things the right way.
You think he's gone around it the wrong way?
Yeah, I think he's gone. I understand everything that he wants. Do you know what I mean? He wants to play Champions League football at his age, all of that.
Would you say that Ronaldo's at a time in his life where he thinks he's bigger than United?
Yeah, definitely.
He is. He
But-
is though.
And
He is.
that's fine.
He
But
is.
my thing is to like respect where you come from. Do you know what I mean? Even last season, that we've done everything to get you back in, and cool, the club hasn't lived up to your expectations. That's fine, but at least treat the fans with respect. You've not been there all pre-season, and you come back.
That's
And
the
then
reason.
yeah, but yeah, I get that. But your body language in that game, after what we've gone through, we don't need no distractions right
When
now.
he walking off last season without clapping the fans and that. Like this, he's been doing this, bro.
That's
how he gets down.
Yeah, but that it's all it's sorry. It's
And
all
you
about-
supported him last year, though,
No,
innit?
no. The thing is, it's all for me. It's all about timing. You know, all cameras, everything's on you at this
Right
moment
now.
in time. Do you know what I mean? You know that it's on you and it's on the club. And as I said, and you lot have all seen it. What Ten Hag has come in and done has been positive, and you see there's like a certain discipline that he's set. So Ronaldo's, for me personally, in the season maybe, but it's still pre-season. Doesn't really need to do that. Doesn't need to show that type of body language.
And to make
That's
matters
you want him out?
worse, to make matters worse, didn't he leave?
I don't think we can be fussy enough to say,
Do you think the media narrative plays? Because this is the we're in a time right now, yeah. We're in a time right now, okay, where 10, 15 years ago, if like Ferguson times, if Ferguson said this is what it is, that's the gospel, innit? We're in a time now of where someone can say something and a player can just literally tweet and go, no, that's cap, that's not true.
Happened with Ranić, innit?
Cool.
that with this incident.
Cool. So what I'm saying is, yeah, with the
You think Randy can just see
Ronaldo
that?
thing, with the Ronaldo thing right now, yeah. Ronaldo historically, because we're acting like this is something new. Historically, he don't do pre-season. He's on his own thing. He does his own thing anyway. He's literally does that anyway. The Ten Hag's coming. The team, in terms of the overall team, etc. Cool. To it, like you said, in terms of what his expectation was for Man United coming in, it's not met his expectation. Cool. What Ronaldo did on the sideline is being blown out of proportion, in my opinion, because he does that all the time. He does that all the time. That's nothing new. That's not when he was at Man United the first time round. When he left and went Real Madrid, he done the same thing. He was badding up Zidane, doing the same thing. When he was at Juve, it's just a media narrative. So if Ronaldo was going to leave, if he was going to leave, okay, in my opinion, okay, if he was going to leave, he would have left. I don't even think it's the aspect of what club will take him or what not, because just from the revenue that he creates off the pitch, just that alone, Ronaldo's available, you're signing him. It's a no-brainer. Do I think they should keep Ronaldo? 100%. You can't get rid of that. That is not an option to get rid of. Yeah, I don't think it's anything to get rid of. Player issues with the management, that's normal.
You say it's a no-brainer, yeah.
Ronaldo's got a goal.
He's been trying to get a move, bro. And
got
no
a
one
goal.
ain't wanted him.
You
don't believe all that?
I think
Go.
if his agent's trying to get him a move, or is Ronaldo directly saying, I'm leaving?
His agent been trying to get him in for a while, and nobody ain't coming in, bro. So I don't think we're in the time of anyone will take him no
That's a
more.
part of football.
Yeah,
Agents are constantly trying to get man moved.
Yeah, but I don't think anyone will take him no more like they would have done 5-10 years
He
ago.
could probably
But I
only
think-
go to
I think a
like
lot
a
of
handful of
things
teams.
play a
Yeah,
in
that
the
went
world
like
back in the
anyone
40s.
would have taken Ronaldo in his prime.
But I think that's what plays a factor. He's a 37. Not saying he's bad by the way, but he's 37 years
And
old.
he knows he's 37.
He can't, like, for example, he can't go into, even though Chelsea wanted him, he can't go into Chelsea's team and go press because we won't go and do
Who
that.
can he go
He's
to
never
at
done it
this
though.
age?
No, that's what I'm saying.
So he needs to go somewhere where they'll allow him to be a luxury.
just to be like a
He's
player.
always been that.
You know one thing I don't.
And United
agree
allowed him
when
to be
people
that.
say he can't. He can. He's fitter than.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but
He don't want to.
So he won't.
Thank you. Yeah.
So
If
it's
he's
difference,
saying,
there's a
I'm
difference,
Ronaldo,
but it's the same when Chelsea had Lukaku. Like
Bang
Lukaku.
goals.
Yeah, that's the
Like, at Real
difference.
Madrid when he was like in his prime years. Benzema was doing the donkey work for him. He sat up there, Benzema, you go
It's-
press.
it's the
Get
ego.
ball,
Di Maria,
lay
save
it
man.
on.
Yeah.
Like, come, you just don't want to. And with him, I feel like respect goes both ways. Like sometimes the clubs get away with disrespect as well. Don't bring Ronaldo to United, sign mediocre players, end up in Europa League and expect him to stay there. That don't make no sense. That's like going and getting
Did you
a
think
10
they
out of 10 bird. And then you want to take her like Nando's for her birthday. That's disrespect.
Did you think
both
all
ways.
them
You
man
wanted
they
to
were-
be happy with it.
I think with the man they were media at the time, when you got Varane and Sancho, was you thinking this, we're gonna mash work, or was you thinking nah,
at
this
the
is
time, it
dead?
wasn't more the players, it was more the manager. It wasn't
That whole Man
He's done
United
his job.
culture
He's
is
done his job.
toxic.
He banged
Man United
goals.
is
He's done
toxic.
his
Yeah, but
job.
you just said it there. Actually.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Right now, remember we got rid of the people we said was toxic, the Hendersons, the Poppers, the Lingards. We've got rid of all of them. So for me now, it seems like Ronaldo's the only one.
The last
that has
one left,
that-
isn't it?
The last one that negativity.
I don't think Ronaldo's toxic. I think Ronaldo is top.
But even wait,
This year he's been hella toxic.
Do you know what it is,
bro.
boys? I think we've all got our own opinions on Ronaldo, and we're just gonna leave it there and move on in it because otherwise we'll be here all day talking about Ronaldo. And we just got to put it out there: Messi's better than Ronaldo, and that has always been the case. From the jump. No, it has always been.
But you're admitting it now.
But anyway. But boys, listen, right, we're gonna wrap this up by getting everyone's predictions on the top 4.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna go first because I feel like I've got a good top 4, and
Don't lie though.
it'll be the same as last year. Like I said earlier, it'll be City first with Liverpool second. Then in our own field is Chelsea third, and in 4th place is Spurs, and that's how the top 4 will finish. Then it will be Arsenal. And then United, we'll still got them later on, but that's how the top 4 will finish. And I think it's because City and Liverpool, they're in their own field. They've recruited well, and they're always miles ahead of us anyway. And the rest of the pack, but Chelsea are just Chelsea. They're
I
always
don't
like
get this.
miracles.
I don't get the optimism for Chelsea.
No, Chelsea
I
are
don't
Chelsea.
get why
They're like
you're
miracles, man. Trust
so
me.
confident.
Trust me.
Is it Raza alone's got you?
Brazza alone. Brazza alone on his ones.
I'm on Brazza's a big.
Brazza's an X-factor player. He will make a difference. Play him as a false nine, play him out
I just want
wide.
to see you with six months after Raza. That's what I want to see.
Listen,
Let's keep this energy in 6
I
months.
believe Chelsea will finish third. We've got one of the best managers in the league. We've got a good team.
I'll give you that,
But let's be real. Chelsea fell apart when Reece James and Chilwell got injured. Before that, we conceded like 4 goals. Was top of the league by 6 points. They got injured and it fell
Bro, it
apart.
started the league. It doesn't matter who's top, bro. It started the
What
league.
about Christmas? Was
So
was
now
top.
you're gonna buy Cucurella just in case he gets injured again.
100%.
What are you gonna do if Reece James gets injured? You're just gonna rely on your fullbacks, and if they get injured, that's it.
Yeah, but the
Season's
way,
done.
No, but the way the Chelsea system plays, them fullbacks are very pivotal in us winning, isn't it?
But that's the
Yeah,
same
but
as
if you have no
Arsenal
plan
though. That's the
B-
same as Arsenal though.
Yeah,
To
but
be
look,
fair,
I know
because we
Arsenal.
Tomiyasu and Tierney both got injured,
Yeah.
and then we was with Partey
You said
too.
it was Partey that.
I'm just saying, I didn't even mention them. You get me?
Because
I didn't
everyone
even
gets
mention them.
injuries. There's no point.
Right.
Everyone gets injuries.
Cool.
Don't underestimate.
We'll move on. We'll move on.
Fullbacks are
We'll move
fine.
on. We'll keep it short and sweet though. Yeah. Cool.
Liverpool top for me this year.
Yeah.
City second.
Yeah.
Spurs third.
Yeah.
Wow. And the last, bro, I don't even want it to come out my mouth, but I think it will be Chelsea, to be fair.
Good choice. Next one.
City, Liverpool. My one, just after that, is the best 2 managers, which is Conte, Spurs, Tuchel, Chelsea.
Well done. Good choice. Next one.
City. Liverpool. I know this sounds biased, but I'm going Arsenal first.
You gotta believe.
And then
believe.
we have fourth.
That's fair, man.
It's got to be the boys in blue, innit?
Man, disrespecting Conte, you know. Oh my god.
I think, I don't know. I think Chelsea over Tottenham for me. To be fair.
You heard it here first, guys. You heard it here first. Chelsea are making the top 4 all day.
I don't know about Chelsea's win. You man still got Loftus Cheek and that. Like you ain't really done enough.
That's what I'm
business,
saying,
bro.
I'm on that wave.
I ain't
That's
done
that
enough.
wave. Go and run your free.
You ain't done enough business. Anyway, I think we'll come top again. City will come top. I think Liverpool will run us close again. I'm getting sick of it. Sick of them doing it. But I think they will again. Maybe they got 1-2 years of this left because it's getting annoying. Then I think we're gonna have Arsenal to just look too strong pre-season. They might all fall away, but they look too strong pre-season. They got 2 Prem winners.
Choice.
When Zinchenko links up with Jesus and they all get on a vibe, it's gonna be mad.
I let him finish.
We started on Zinchenko. There would have been no Premier League this season if it weren't for Zinchenko in the last game. So I might not talk about weak link. And 4th place, I think Spurs will take 4th. I don't think you'll get top 4, United.
Robbo.
City, Liverpool, yeah, 100%. I look at it in 2 ways. I think whoever gets knocked out of Europe first, I think in terms of the running towards fresh legs, squad depth, I think they will have a major impact.
They'll make that third.
Yeah, who'll make third. So I think
It's a good point.
there's
still.
a big pool of teams that can do it. But just based on it solely now, squad, City, Liverpool, Spurs, and then after that, I'd say Chelsea or Arsenal. I'd say between those two.
A lot of man are fancying
The
Spurs.
only reason why I won't add Man United into it, is because I still feel they're in that transition period with the new manager coming in and adapting with that. But what I've seen from them this year has been sick.
What is it about Spurs that makes you pick?
Because Conte's won, and their team. I know it's not all nice and pretty and stuff like that, but man's actually, for me, disrespecting how Kane and Son are just top. They're just top. They're just top. They're the only team.
No, they've been top for years, though, innit?
They've been top, and I think that with
They've
the
been top for years. How does that make them?
They've got in
How does
now.
that push them on?
The 2 midfielders that they have, like Højbjerg and Bentancur, I think they're good ball players. But in transition, when it gets in transition, I think Basuma adds value in that aspect.
No, he does.
Yeah, he adds value in that bit, and that's the part.
That's a fact.
And they got the squad depth now. Before they had wing backs, people like Doherty and them, like they're not really the quality. Rugelon and them, Sessignon, they're not that kind of quality. But now they've added players. The only shambles sign was Lenglet. He just comes to pick up. That was embarrassing. He was in my bottom 3 still.
No way.
Moving on.
It was dreadful.
Top 4.
Dreadful.
Alright, I'm going City, Liverpool, Arsenal. Brother. Wait, Arsenal, yeah, and then I'm going Spurs.
I know you got them believe it.
I 100% believe that. I 100% believe that, bro.
I'm biased.
100%. Do you know what it is?
You know it's.
Wait, I just want to say, quickly, see when the team finishes 11 points ahead of you, you gotta believe it, bro. You can't discredit what man's saying, bro. You just gotta take my word for it. You just gotta take my word for it, bro.
What position was that?
I don't know. All you saw was backs, bro. You just saw man's back. You see what I'm saying? Don't worry about that. You lot signed right now. What do you mean?
0 European.
That don't mean. But how many more extra games did you not really play than us, though? You lot didn't really play that much extra games, though. Ahead of you, man.
We'll leave it there. Boys, listen up. So, one theme we'll be introducing in this podcast for the viewers watching to select is who they think was captain of this pod. So, who they thought was talking the most sense, had good valid points, and really brought something interesting to the table. And they'll also be voting on who they think was capping the most. So, viewers, let us know in the comments section below who you think was the captain of this pod and who you think was capping the most. And the person that was the capper, next week there is a forfeit. Okay, so I'm going to think of forfeit for next week. But panel, it's been a great pleasure having you all guys here today. Some interesting stuff. I'm glad you all put Chelsea in your top 4, majority anyway. But guys, thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe to our new podcast, and we shall see you guys next week.